Once upon a time in a faraway land, there was a very beautiful girl who lived with her parents in a small village. The girl's name was Elara, and she was known throughout the land for her kindness and beauty. But Elara had a secret. She had never been in love. And as she grew older, she began to worry that she might never find someone who loved her as much as she loved them. One day, a traveling merchant came to the village and set up a stall in the marketplace. He had all kinds of exotic goods from faraway lands, and Elara couldn't help but stop and admire the beautiful silks and jewelry he had for sale. As she looked around, she saw something that made her gasp. It was a necklace made of pure gold and adorned with rubies. Elara had never seen anything so beautiful, and she knew she had to have it. The merchant saw the longing look on Elara's face and smiled. "That is a very beautiful necklace," he said, "and it would look even more beautiful on a lovely lady such as yourself." Elara blushed at his compliment, but she knew she couldn't afford such an expensive necklace. "I'm afraid I don't have enough money to buy it," she said. The merchant leaned in close to her. "Tell you what," he whispered, "I will give you the necklace if you can guess my name." Elara's heart skipped a beat. She had never been this close to a stranger before. And when she looked into his eyes, she saw that they were kind and warm. "Is that really true?" she asked. The merchant nodded. "But be warned," he said. "My name is not an easy one to guess. If you get it wrong, you will never see me again." Elara took a deep breath and tried to think of a name that would match the merchant's kind eyes and noble bearing. Finally, she said, "Is your name Gilbert?" The merchant's eyes widened in surprise. "That is correct," he said. "You win the necklace." Elara couldn't believe her luck. She put on the necklace and thanked the merchant again and again. As the merchant was packing up his stall, Elara couldn't help but steal another glance at him. She couldn't help but notice how tall and strong he was, and how his muscles rippled beneath his tunic. She had never seen a man so handsome and charming. And as he packed up his stall, she found herself getting closer and closer to him. Before she knew it, she was standing right in front of him. I just wanted to say thank you again for the necklace," she stammered. The merchant looked up at her and smiled. "It was my pleasure," he said. "And besides, I couldn't resist a beautiful girl like yourself." Elara blushed at his compliment, but she couldn't help but agree. Maybe she wouldn't be able to find someone to love her in her own world, but here, in this fantasy world, where anything was possible, maybe she just might. From that moment on, Alaric and the merchant, whose real name turned out to be Gerard, became inseparable. They spent their days exploring the magical lands together, and Elara couldn't help but fall in love with her new companion. But there was a problem. Gerard was about to leave and return to his merchant life, and Elara didn't want to lose him, so she did something bold. She confessed her love for Gerard and asked him to marry her. Gerard was taken aback by her confession, but he had fallen in love with her too. And he had never met a girl as beautiful and kind as Elara. So he agreed to marry her, and they were wed in a small ceremony in the village. Elara and Gerard were so happy together. They traveled the land, meeting new people and seeing new sights. And Elara couldn't help but feel like she had found her true love at last. But their happiness was short-lived. One day, while traveling through a dense forest, they were attacked by a group of armed men. Gerard fought bravely, but there were too many attackers and he was soon wounded. Seeing her husband in danger, Elara stepped in and fought back. She may not have been a warrior, but she was willing to do anything to protect her love. In the end, they managed to fight off the attackers, but Gerard was badly hurt, and there was no one to help them. Elara knew that she had to take action quickly, or she would lose him. Suddenly, Elara remembered a legend she had once heard about a magical spring hidden in the forest. The water from this spring had healing powers and could cure any wound. With newfound determination, Elara carried Gerard to the forest and began searching for the magical spring. She searched for hours, but just when she was about to give up hope, she saw it. Hidden beneath the roots of an ancient tree was a small pool of water that seemed to glow with a soft light. With trembling hands, Elara dipped a finger into the water and tasted it. It was sweet and refreshing and filled with magic. Knowing this was the legendary healing spring, Elara carefully lifted Gerard and laid him down beside it. As the water flowed over his wounds, Gerard's breathing became more steady and his skin began to heal. Elara watched in amazement as Gerard slowly regained consciousness. "Gerard," she cried out, rushing to his side. He opened his eyes and saw Elara kneeling beside him. A weak smile spread across his face. "Elara," he whispered, reaching out to touch her cheek. "You saved my life." Elara shook her head. "We saved each other," she replied, kissing him gently. In that moment, Elara knew she had found true love in Gerard. Their bond had been forged in the fires of battle and healed by the magic of the forest. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that their love for each other was the most powerful magic of all. And so Elara and Gerard returned to the village, hand in hand, ready to start their new life together. The villagers were overjoyed to see their beloved leader and his bride return safe and sound. They celebrated with a feast and a dance, and Elara and Gerard were the center of attention. As the night wore on, Elara couldn't help but steal glances at her new husband. She was still in awe of his strength and courage, but she also admired his kindness and compassion. He had shown her that it was possible to be both a powerful warrior and a gentle soul. Gerard, too, was lost in thought, but his mind was filled with admiration for his wife. He had never met a woman as beautiful, brave and loving as Elara, and he knew that he was the luckiest man in the world to have her by his side. As the celebration drew to a close, Elara and Gerard walked hand in hand through the quiet streets of the village. The night was warm and the stars were shining brightly overhead. "I love you, Gerard," Elara whispered, leaning against him. "I love you too, my beautiful queen," he replied, kissing her forehead. They stood there for a long moment, lost in each other's embrace, knowing that their love was the most precious treasure of all. They lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with wisdom and compassion. Elara, though not a warrior, was a strong and wise leader who cared deeply for her people. Gerard, with his strength and courage, protected his people and led them to many victories. Together, they built a strong and prosperous kingdom that was known throughout the land for its peace and prosperity. But sometimes on cold winter nights, when the wind howled through the castle walls, Elara and Gerard would huddle together for warmth, remembering the magical journey that had brought them together, for they knew that their love story was one that would be told for generations to come. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go get back to scrubbing the floors." "Just kidding. You don't have to do that. Now, stay tuned, because I have plenty more stories of fantastical adventures for you.